boys and girls, children and students of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes, parents and grandparents, and teachers of Buddhist Sunday school. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. We are going to have another children's story titled The Diligent Girl and the Lazy Girl. It is a children's moral story, and this is particularly dedicated to the young ones, the children and the students, particularly of the primary school. Now, the presentation in PowerPoint form will have the text in English and Bahasa Malaysia or Malay, whereas the narration and explanation will be in English. And at the end of the story, we are going to have an important slide that tells about the important lessons, the moral values that we can learn from this story. So, as usual, we are going to have the presentation of the PowerPoint. So, slideshow. Now we start from the beginning. Now you see the cover slide, the diligent girl and the lazy girl. Lazy, I think all of you know the meaning, malas, whereas the word diligent just means hardworking, industrious, right? Always putting in the effort and hard work. That is the meaning. Now, this story will tell us a very important moral values, right? Now, you can see here a very hardworking student, and here you have a lazy one, These are just pictures, images to make the story easier and more interesting to follow. Now, let us go on. Before that, let me take off the video. Now let's go on to slide number 2, the start of the story. Now read the story and explain each of the slides. There were two friends called Irene and Kelly. Irene was hardworking, but Kelly was lazy. You can actually see just the drawings. Here you have the hardworking one, Irene, and the other one, a lazy student. Probably maybe just in lower secondary, standard 1 or 2, or maybe even kindergarten. Maybe standard 3 and 4 also possible. Now, Kelly will always prefer to take the shortcut. Shortcut sometimes involves cheating also, copying assignments, and then also, ask somebody to do it for you instead of putting in the effort. All these are not good methods, taking shortcuts. Whenever they had to do work together, Kelly would run away to play so that she wouldn't have to do any work. That is not good, isn't it? They were two friends, so sometimes they would work together. They say, oh, now we have a piece of homework to do, let's do together. But this lazy one, instead of sitting down to do the work, would run off to play. She could play on her own, jumping here and there, or going to the field, running around, or just dancing, or just putting on some music and dancing, or singing, just all playing all the while. Whereas it was time to do the homework, but she didn't want to do. She said, "Now, I'll do later lah." Whereas the other girl, Irene, was very hardworking. So she would carry out her duties and responsibilities and finish her homework first before going out to play. You see, that would be a very good student, isn't it? So that is this Here, and you can see here, one playful one, the other very hardworking, and then this girl, lazy one, Kelly, would run off to the maybe the field, or even if the playground is near the place, you would go to the playground. So this is the type of lazy student. We should actually play. You should actually play when it's time to play. When it's time to do work, you must do work. But she was not like that, right? She just loved to play and play and play and wouldn't do uh, proper work when she should be doing. Now let us go on to slide number 3. Slide number 3. Kelly never cleaned up after herself and she never packed her toys. Now this would happen either in school or at home also. A very bad habit, right? Like at home, so there will be times where she would play with her toys, or all sorts of toys. Maybe primary school children also play with Lego or certain of those puzzles, jigsaw puzzles and so on. Depending on the standard of the students lah. But then this girl, Kelly, had this bad habit of just taking things out to play, all sorts of play things, right? Then after that, she would not keep all those things back into the proper places, At home, she was like that. And she also never cleaned, never packed those things properly, lah. So she didn't have these good habits, no. So in school, right? So she was also quite messy in the work dealing with art and craft, So, she never helped to clean up the place after doing, work on art and craft, all sorts of work, interesting work, isn't it? And we also have this sort of thing in the Sunday school. So the children would sit in groups and then they will do the art and craft work. So many types. Sometimes they could even make lanterns or kites. And then after all the work finished, then the children would, tidy up, help to clean the place, put the things back into their respective places. Sometimes, they would use the coloring materials, crayons or color pencils, provided by the Buddhist Sunday school. So they would help, you see. But now and then you will have also one person never like to help. She only would just do the things and enjoy playing with the art and craft things. They like art and craft, but after that, never help with the rest to clear up the place. That is not good, isn't it? So teachers would not like such students who are not cooperative, who are not helpful, right? And only thinking of themselves and going out to play only. And then the other thing is, in school, she never submitted her homework on time because she played instead of doing her work. That is also something very, very bad. In school, even primary school, also sometimes you are given a small piece of homework, right? Maybe to write certain sentences, or maybe even a simple essay like, my family. So that is simple essay you might have to do at the maybe even standard 3 level or something like that lah. But she like to postpone, the teacher the teacher told them that boys and girls, children, you have to submit this short essay, my family, next week. All right. What day? A certain day lah. Next Monday, let's say. 1 week, the start of the week, and then she gave the students 1 week. But when the time came, all would submit except her. So Kelly never submitted. She gave all sorts of excuses, right? And then the teacher, gave her the warning, sometimes punish her, but she had this bad habit, never submitted her homework on time. So that is a lack of discipline also, isn't it? And then the teacher would mark all those essays and then return to them, and she would be late when the essays were being given out, and then she wanted to submit. No, that sort of thing, is bad, isn't it? And she had very poor excuses. Actually, plainly, she was just lazy, right? She loved to play and sleep and perhaps eat. Eat, play, sleep. Eat, play, sleep. So this is a lazy child. So the teacher, talked to her, but she would not listen. So it's very important for parents, grandparents to correct the bad habits or poor habits of some children from young. Because if we don't correct the habits of these children from young, then they will carry on. And even as adults, they will still have the bad habits. Like people, passing up, they're supposed to, let's say, you are in a particular association, and you're supposed to give a report, every year, and then the will be late again. Because the habit there always late, isn't it? And then, for example, a bad habit of coming late for meetings. Of course, the young children, maybe they don't have the meetings, but then, they had all these bad habits from young. So children, like for example, they will ask, are you all come to school? What time? All right, and so on. And she will be late. And then when the parents will ask, the parents say, yeah, she asked her to wake up. She didn't want to wake up in time, And then after many times of trying to get her up, then she will get ready and dilly-dally here and there until late for school. Whereas Kelly was not like that. She was in a way a model student. She had very good habits. She would be punctual, and then she had many good qualities and virtues. So you see, the important thing is we must carry out our duties and know when is the time to play, when is the time to study, when to sleep, all these things, then you can get along well with people and you don't give trouble and problems to your parents and also to the teachers in school and also sometimes to your classmates also. Because you don't cooperate in the team, so people will ask you to do this work, you never do the work for the project. So the whole team is affected. It's terrible, isn't it? Actually, now you still have these cases. Some of my students who, are in the universities and they have this group project also. And they told me the same thing. In the team of maybe 3 or 4 people, let's say, to carry out a project, there will be one person who was like that. never never would work, and do her part, So another 1 or 2 hardworking ones have to do all the things for that person. It's terrible, isn't it? So next time when you go out to work, then how can you be successful? You won't get promotions. You might even get the sack, So this is an important thing to think about. Important things at the young stage, during the time when you are children. So now let us go on to slide number 4 now. Slide number 4. Now this is slide number 4. One day in school, the teacher, Mrs. Jane, right? So announced something very exciting and important, that there was going to be a writing competition. And all those who wrote a good essay would get awesome prizes, wonderful, fantastic prizes. All the children were excited. Even Irene, the 2 girls, Irene and Kelly, were also excited because they heard about the wonderful, awesome prizes. They had many dreams about what they would do with the prizes. So now you could see the pictures to help you to understand. So the teacher announced there will be an essay writing competition. In the class, he announced, just like this teacher announcing. You can see here, announcing. And then, the students were very happy to hear it. And these two students, remember the two girls, Irene and Kelly, they were very excited. They were dreaming about, wow, fantastic, the prizes. Apart from the trophies, there will be other things, other prizes so given. Of course, you have this winning trophy, like you can see, maybe a cup, or sometimes they have other types of trophies. So they were very, very happy to hear these, two of them. So let us go on to slide number 5. Slide number 5. Oh, Kelly, I'm so excited, said Irene. You need to start preparing for the competition. Now, this Kelly was a responsible and then very motivated student. So she told her friend, "Wow, it's very exciting. We have a competition to write an essay. So you better start preparing now, Kelly." Preparing, of course, you would have to go to do some sort of a research to find out more about the topic, to visit the library, to discuss or to ask your parents or maybe some brothers, sisters, what sort of ideas you have before you start writing, isn't it? So preparation very important, isn't it? This Kelly, tidak apa, we call it the tidak apa attitude leceh Malay. Well, said Kelly, I do not need to prepare. You go ahead and prepare lah. I would do mine a day to the deadline. Deadline means the closing date already. Tarik akhir. Right? So she said, I will wait until just one day before the deadline. Then I will think about it and I will write the essay. Actually, you have many people like that today. They like to postpone. Instead of doing the task, they will wait and wait and then until last moment. I had students in secondary school right until Form 6 who will be like that. Instead of doing their assignments or their project on time, they try to pass up on time, but not good work. Why? Because like this. Just when the deadline came nearer, the night before, they would not sleep, they would drink coffee and then start to do the project. So at the last moment, it's a very bad thing, isn't it? You can't give your best. And then not enough sleep, you go to the night, then what will be the effect? It will affect your health also, isn't it? The following day, you can't be alert to follow the lessons. And then you might even fall sick. So all the bad things about postponing, procrastinating, doing things last moment. And when you do things last moment, there's a strong likelihood that you will make mistakes because you are rushing, isn't it? You don't really have time to settle the mind and do it smoothly. You will be having in your mind, wow, very near already, got to pass up better hurry So how can you do a good piece of work when you are having that state of mind? Whereas Irene was different. The other girl worked very, very hard for her essay. Of course, the teacher will give them enough time, maybe 1 week or something like that, to do it at home. So Irene would take the time to visit the library, and then to, do preparation reference work, to think about it. So she was not like this, Kelly, playing, every time playing only. So let us see what will be the effect of this thing. So let us now go on to slide number 6. So as I said just now, this girl, the hardworking one, Irene, she went to the library to read, about her topic. That should be the way, isn't it? And now, of course, with the internet, and these children also now they know how to use the internet, smartphone and so on. These young ones are very good in these technical equipment, devices, the phones, and they even know how to go to YouTube, Facebook, all these young children, Standard 1, 2, 3 years old, they know. But sad to say, most of them abuse the internet and the smartphone instead of searching for useful things like knowledge or asking questions uh, given in school and so on. They are more interested in what? Playing the games or chit-chatting with their friends. Even young ones, they chit-chat with their friends, they waste a lot of time. So a lot of harmful effects come. So that's why it's very important for the parents, the grandparents to check on them, to guide them, to be strict sometimes, so that they would not have these terrible habits. And these habits will carry on until they are adults. At that time, very difficult to change already. So you see, so many cases are like that. So she was like that. Of course, these are the thing took the story based on a long time ago. So, but now you have the modern situation of the internet and the smartphone and so on. So the same principle. So this girl, the lazy one, Kelly would always want to play. Whereas the other one, did her work. She went to the library to read. She asked librarians or friends, the older students, all those things. So to ensure that she could write a good essay, isn't it? That is a very good thing. But this Kelly would play on and on and on. She was just plain lazy now. And then with this bad habit of procrastination. Why are you working so hard, Irene? Kelly laughed. I'm going to play and have fun. And the night before the deadline, I will write a quick story lah. That is what is happening today also. Not just the students, but even the adults. They tend to do things at the last moment. And I've seen from experience, many who do things at the last moment would not come up with a good piece of work. And the worst thing is someone will forget. And that's what happens, you see. So causing a lot of trouble to oneself and also to others. So you must make sure you are not like that. Very, very common. I've encountered so many cases in my teaching life of students who tend to do things last moment and then sometimes forget and say, I forgot to do already. Or will come out with very, very sloppy, lousy type of work. Projects and all those things, the same thing. So next time, the person, when he goes to work, the same thing. Project to do at home, and if you do your research at the last moment, then you don't have enough time, you rush, and then your state of mind is not good, your health is affected, you stay up late nights to try to finish your project. But there are people, right, who will always start off early and then plan the thing. I have this very important thing in my mind. Never do things last moment. I will always try to finish whatever that is given way before the deadline, so that you find that, well, I've done my best, and you don't have those, stressful times of doing last moment. Right. Now let us go on to number 7. No, this girl, what attitude, she even told the friend, have fun lah, Irene. Don't work so hard. Life is all about fun. Kelly said, oh, you have that type of philosophy. Life is all about fun. And in fact, today also you have adults who think that life is just to enjoy yourself as much as possible. Right? You had last time you have the hippie groups and so on, they had this type of philosophy. Enjoy yourself lah. You can never know when you're going to die, and then they do wrong things, face a lot of problems. Life is not all about the fun chasing only. You can have your times of play and rest and some fun, but remember, life is just more than that. Life requires you to develop very good qualities of the mind, to carry out your responsibilities and duties, and also to be helpful to your other family members and to other people who need help. All these qualities have to be developed in life, isn't it? So life is definitely not all about fun, but this was a girl like that. And if she were not educated or guided when she was younger, she will grow up to be like that. Huh? Always, will be, if it's a boy, I mean, girls also gamble, will take up gambling, drinking, because want to have fun, to enjoy themselves. So work affected, study affected. Yeah, enough of cases. I used to give talks along that line also. So Kelly tried to advise, this Irene tried to advise her, it's not so like that, but couldn't change because she was young. So this young girl Kelly would need the counseling and advice from parents, grandparents, and also from teachers, counselors, and so on. But this Irene was opposite. She didn't stop. She didn't just waste the time away. She kept working very hard, and didn't stop until she produced an excellent essay. That opposite to this girl Kelly. So just on the eve before the deadline, let us say the deadline or the Monday, then on Sunday itself, she was still playing, playing on the playground in the morning. She would go and play. And then modern times, you have Sunday, they would just watch the YouTube on and on, chit chat with friends on the Facebook, and so on. So that is also dealing the wasting the time away when there was a project to do to complete. She was like that. So she will be jumping up and down, play and play and play. Don't know how many hours. Let's see what will happen. So these pictures show two of them talking to one another. And this hardworking one started to work. This one still playing and jumping around like a monkey. Now let us go on to number 8 now. So finally, Kelly got home already. I don't know, it's not stated there in the essay, in the story, what time she went back. Probably maybe she played on until lunchtime, went back. And then after that, still play at home. Anyway, the point was she played so much and then jumping here and there, she was tired already. She was so tired. In the evening, until the evening, she was so tired already. She meant to do it maybe the night before, she said, isn't it? By evening, she was so tired, she started to do the work that you could see here. Here, of course, she was still playing all over. And then she slept, sometimes you could just sleep at the table, right? Even though not on the bed. It happened to me a few times also, so tired because I did not have enough sleep. So while doing the work also, I felt very, very sleepy because I was doing hours of work already. So that was what, but hers was due to playing. So she was so tired that she slept off on the table. And she slept until the next morning, Next morning, time to go to school and hand in the essay already. Next morning, she woke up and then she looked at the clock and then she realized, Ayo, already Monday morning. Oh no, I meant to write the night before, but I was so tired that I didn't write my essay. I slept. She cried. So you can see here the pictures are trying to show what is being written in the story. So you see the consequence is terrible, isn't it? Procrastinating, playing, being lazy, leceh, not taking things seriously. So all these terrible qualities compared to the other girl, Irene, isn't it? So now let us go on to slide number 9. So when she got to school, of course, the story did not tell how she went to school, maybe by bus or parents sent. Actually, these two girls were friends, but they, of course, were living in different houses, they have different families. So the other girl, of course, also went to school on time. So when she got to school, and then, the bell rang for the children to go to the classrooms. So the teacher came and said, today is the day for you to hand in your essays for the competition. So all the students pass up the essays to be checked, examined in order to, and then to judge, to get the winners, isn't it? So she got no essay to submit, right, isn't it? Because she slept, you see. Wow. She really felt so embarrassed. Shameful, isn't it? Other people were looking at you. Everybody knew, because the teacher would collect one by one. So when he came to the turn, she would give all sorts of excuses. Some maybe, and then in such situations, some students will lie. Instead of telling the truth, I regretted that I played on, and then when I started, I was very sleepy and tired, and I slept, I didn't have time. So I then apologized. But many students, we know, would try to bluff their ways, right? And so there was this case, Johnny was late from school, right? And then when she reached the school, the teacher asked Johnny, why are you late? Oh, there was a thief, on my way here. And the thief took my pocket money also. So, very bad man, He took my pocket money also. And then the teacher said, oh, unfortunate, you have to be careful. The teacher advised and said, okay, now pass your essay lah. The thief also took my essay. That's real lying. This is not the true case. It's just a joke. But this to tell you the point. There are students who lie. And then, if these are not corrected, you have to teach them moral education, tell them all this. I posted stories on, remember the boy who cried wolf, and other stories about the terrible effects that come from lying and telling lies. It's quite common. Not only do they tell lies, they cheat the children. I remember, I was teaching this moral education, pendidikan moral. I think it was a Form 3 class. Telling them the importance of being honest and so on. But they had already developed these bad habits from the time they were young. So imagine the class, during the test for pendidikan moral, I caught 2 or 3 copying, There are all sorts of ways to cheat. Writing the answers on the paper, keeping the pocket, hiding the book beneath the desk, all sorts of ways. So of course I caught them, and then gave them the warning, and of course they failed in that test. It was not honest work, isn't it? Cheating, isn't it? So sometimes you wonder, why are these people like that? Actually, all these things actually start from the time they were young. So actually, it is the responsibility of the parents to check. The teacher will not be with you all day long, isn't it? You spend time in school, just, hearing the lessons and so on. Then the rest of the day, you are at home. So most of the time, you're at home. So the parents have a very great responsibility to check that these bad habits and the vices, the bad things don't develop in the young ones. And when they become adults, they carry on these terrible things. I have posted also some presentation based on stories, some of them true stories about, young men, caught for doing terrible things, kidnapping or even killing and so on. So, of course, ended up in jail to be hanged, that sentence. And before that, during the court trial and so on, so the parents were present. Wow, these young men stood up and shouted, scolded the mother. Why is it that you didn't teach me all these moral values, didn't correct my ways? Wow, out of control. He started to blame the mother. or the father, particularly the mother, she blame and blame. There may be some things to think about. Sometimes quite true. Of course, the other point was sometimes, these children come from previous lives with very bad traits and so on, but they can be changed. So that's why the role of parents is very important, and it is not an easy duty. But if you don't do that one day, then you regret when the children grow up to be terrible people. On the other hand, I have also friends who would bring up their children so well, and then right to the time when the students went to the universities, they were exemplary, very, very good students. So parenting is very important. So what happened? She couldn't submit any essay lah. So the next day, of course, the teacher got to go over. So she took all the essays back. She was a very good, dedicated teacher, hardworking. She went over all the essays of the students. Maybe it was quite a small class, maybe 20 students or something like that lah. And then, of course, the essays were not long essays, primary school, so the essays were short. So when the results of the essay competition were announced the following day, Irene was top of the class. She got the first prize, or you can say grand prize. Oh, you see, here just put animated trophy, or like a golden cup, a trophy. So everybody clapped lah, because Irene was the top, got the grand prize already. And then there were other prizes for those who wrote quite good essays lah, not only one, you see. And of course, Irene got the most prizes lah. Apart from the trophy, maybe she also got some other presents like eatables lah, chocolates lah, or sweets lah, biscuits lah, and a lot of presents and maybe a few playthings also lah, because primary school so she got many presents. So what happened to the girl Kelly? You see, she looked and then felt so embarrassed, so shameful. All right, other people celebrating their victories, and then also happy for their friends. Their friends also will share some of the eatables, the things with them. But she got nothing. Everybody also like sort of didn't bother about her because she got bad traits, isn't it? Of being lazy and the only one who did not submit the essay. So that was this. So that was slide number 9. So now let us go on to number 10 now. Then when it was time to go back, so two of them were waiting, maybe waiting for the bus or waiting for the parents to come to fetch them. So Kelly felt very sad. She sort of regretted. Then she told a friend, I wish I had listened to you. You did give me all the good advice to work hard and start preparing, but I did not listen. I told you that, well, I want to play, do last moment. I was lazy. So she confessed. She realized her mistakes. I was lazy and didn't even submit my essay, I did not put in work to do my essay earlier. So she told what happened. She told the truth to the friend, right? So she says, I really feel ashamed. And I regret my lazy habits. I've learned my lesson already. So that's good. Right? That's good. A person who has made mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, but you can change. You can realize your mistakes and your faults, your weaknesses, and then resolve, have that determination to change. And that's what happens to Kelly. She did change. I will not be lazy anymore. Laziness never pays. That is a very good expression in English. Laziness never pays, which means when one is lazy, you will not get the benefits, you will not get the gains and all those good things. You will not be rewarded for laziness. Whereas for diligence or industry, hard work, then these things pay, which means that you get the reward, isn't it? So that was this very important thing that she realized. laziness never pays. Of course, she was sad, and then, of course, a good friend, Irene, console her, say, Kelly, now mind, it's okay. And she would not scold, because she got good character, she would not scold and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore already, right? You are like that one, shameful, everything scolded, and all, he's already passed already, no point, isn't it? So she would give good advice, consolation. Now, my Kelly, everybody makes mistakes. So now it's very good. You have realized it. You have told me already that you have done something not very wise, and you regretted those things, and you resolved not to make the mistakes again. Then you will not be lazy. And that's very good. That's very good. You realize it. So then, of course, in this case, Kelly became very happy. To have a wonderful friend like Irene. And from that day onwards, she changed and was never lazy again. She became a good student. This is something very important, isn't it? It's suitable for all people, actually, I feel. When I went over this children's story, I felt, this also applies to adults at a higher level. Right? And actually, throughout my teaching career, I've encountered so many cases like this. Some change, actually, right? Even at the secondary level, they could change already. I remember I taught some, wow, very naughty and a lot of problems, but later on became very, very good. And today they are very successful people with good families. They've graduated out. Whereas when they were children, wow, not children, even because I didn't teach primary school except for in the Sunday school and preschool. So in my teaching career, I was more experienced teaching the Form 3, Form 4, Form 5, Form 6. So even at the secondary level, Form 4, Form 5, Form 6 even, there were students like that with bad habits, poor attitude, and all those things. I will, of course, advise them. Some change, some never change until later in life. And later on, the fellow changed already. Maybe the reflection came, and then I heard, oh, today they are already Papa, Mama already, and they are very successful, happy. And sometimes they would contact me once a while. So people can change, isn't it? But if you don't change, and if you don't change and you have all those bad habits and so on, and then you must have some people to guide you and point out to you or your good friends, and then you must resolve to change. Otherwise, you will regret one day. All right. So now let us go on to the most important slide, which is number 11. Number 11, there are 4 life lessons that we want to learn. Very, very important. In fact, I would say this is the most important slide, as I always say, just not the story. Because these are life lessons, or you can call moral lessons, or even Dhamma teachings that we have to learn in order to be successful, in order to be more happy, in order to be more peaceful, in order not to get into trouble and not getting conflicts and problems so easily, and facing a lot of unhappiness, suffering, pain, grief, sorrow, isn't it? So that's why we need really to learn these life lessons. But some students, they don't have the patience. You tell them, they don't like to listen. We know all these things already lah. So easy things, common sense, who doesn't know? They always feel like that. That is pride and ego. But it's not, you might know, you might get an A even for Pendidikan Moral. But as I told you before, I have students who copied even in Pendidikan Moral class. So what is important is, even though you know already intellectually, you listen again or read again and reflect and think about it. You have a mind, isn't it? You think about the consequences and so on. Then you find a transformation can change in your mind. There will be a transformation in your mind. There's a change in your mind. Then that's how your mindset changes. Your attitude changes. Your views changes. Then you become a transformed person, like a born again person with good values. That is the greatest miracle of a person. Can transform from a terrible person into like a saint, like the Buddhist story of Angulimala, right? The person who was a terrible robber, and he had killed 900 over, I think, people know to rob them and then take and cut off their fingers. But the Buddha realized that in previous life, he had some good qualities and he could be transformed. And the Buddha approached him and the Buddha converted him. Oh, he became a monk and then from a terrible robber, a murderous robber, he became a fantastic saint, you know. In fact, when he was a monk, he was cultivating a completely changed already, you know, right? Until finally he became an arahant, or what we call a complete full saint. So which means a person can change, you know. Even Angulimala could change. So now let's look at the first one, right? The first one. What's the first lesson? Very important. There is no success without diligence. Tiada kejayaan tanpa ketekunan. We'll read English, the Malay you can read on your own later. Of course, if you look at the history of great people, they were not lazy. They were diligent, apart from other qualities that we are going to look at. So if you are lazy, it's unlikely you're going to be successful in life. In fact, you'll be a failure. And then you could face with lots of problems and trouble, just like this story of the lazy one, Kelly, isn't it? Compared to the other very hardworking one, Irene, isn't it? Just a simple story, but the lessons are very important. That's why there is a problem, I think, that says that diligence is the mother of success. And even in the practice of Dhamma, it's stated there that of the many qualities that we have to develop, that patience, right? And then helpfulness, compassion, loving kindness, many, many good qualities, isn't it? What we call the paramis, the perfections. Diligence is one of the most important. And some monks even in their talk say that diligence is the most important quality. And that's very true. Because in the Dhamma practice, so you have to be hardworking in practicing it, isn't it? If you don't practice it diligently, then how can you change and how can you develop the good karma, isn't it? That is Buddhism, right? So I hope that you realize this very important point. You cannot be successful and be happy and free if you are the lazy type, the lazy one. Okay. This story illustrates very well, isn't it? Simple story only, right? Some will say, very childish, I know all this, yeah. But then, what about looking at ourselves? Have we been hardworking enough? Have we been diligent enough? So that's why some of my former students who are now professional people, accountants and all those lawyers and so on. So they had mentioned to me, they still look at those stories for the children. They find very good also. They quite like them because they realize the message can be put at a higher level. And then the other thing, of course, now they are fathers and mothers, so they want to use this to teach their children. And that is very, very good. That's why this is dedicated even to the parents and grandparents. And the teachers, of course, are doing wonderful work in the Sunday school. Now let us go on to the second lesson. Do not procrastinate. Yes. Now, the word procrastinate means postponing. You say, never mind, do later, keep on like that, I had taught quite a number of students who have this habit. They like to procrastinate. Even the tasks and so on, they don't tend to pass. They say, never mind, wait. And then many times they will forget. So procrastination, there is an English proverb that says, procrastination is the thief of time. Yes, you are stealing the precious time by doing something not so important. And then in the end, the important time comes, you not ready with the work that you are supposed to do. So anyway, procrastination not only brings suffering to yourself, but also to your family members and to the people you associate with, and also the people you work with, let's say later on. Because why? You procrastinate, then you don't come out with a good piece of work, right? And then the worst thing is you forget to hand in or to keep to the promise. And then people suffer, especially when you're supposed to do the thing and you did not do the thing because you kept on procrastinating, putting it off until last moment. And then you had no time to do. So imagine what a company board of directors will feel, that you have not come up with a good report because you kept procrastinating. And in terms of students, right, like I say, you say, oh, I remember I taught one student, right, was a very good student. You know, this good student had all A's and Form 5. So I was the form teacher of the lower six, right? So I noticed that he was a good student. Then why is it that his monthly test marks and so on all kept falling? You know? So then I called him up. Then he told me, sir, don't worry. I said, I'm not worried. I'm just advising you. He said, last time, you know, I never really study, right? And then things also, I kept on postponing until I do last moment one, and still I get all A's. But I say, no, no, time will come and you find this is not true. Like Form 6, for example, there's a lot of things that you keep procrastinating and putting off, and you don't study in time, and then you don't do your work in time, because doing your work in time will have improve your mind and so on, isn't it? You think about it. But he did not want to listen. And to cut the story short, when the time came for the exam and the results came out later, he did not do well. He got all E, and they had A, B, C, D, E. He got nearly all the E's and so on. Could not enter universities. But luckily, the parents will send the fellow overseas. So procrastination can be quite a dangerous sort of thing, right? Given the task, do it. Don't dilly-dally. Some people like to do dilly-dally, you know. Like, for example, when I send certain people certain messages and so on, or certain even presents and so on, ebook and so on. So they procrastinate and say, I will reply to Brother O later lah, later. And they never did. No, they never reply. So people will have a bad impression of you. Whereas my way of life is this: when somebody has done something good for me, I will not procrastinate. I will send a note or whatever way to thank the person or to acknowledge it and so on. So people's relationship with you will be good, isn't it? So procrastination is really the thief of time and a very, very bad habit. Right. Now let us go on to the third one. Do not be lazy. You will regret it. Of course, that is the gist of the story. How laziness brought the downfall, you can say. It's very dangerous, isn't it, to be lazy, malas, right? And one day you will regret it, as this girl regretted it. But then the important thing is she realized it, and then she really made the resolution to change. So today, when I look around, you have so many problems in our country, right? And you see that people who are maybe working for the government, working for the country, many of them are not hardworking enough, isn't it? I've experienced this, like even when I wanted to, when I published on my books. Before that, I would, write to the publishers, and the publishers accepted the manuscript, the book. But some books took 4 or 5 years to be published. So a few times I will visit them. I don't name the publishers. Then you know what they will be doing? Instead of doing the work, they will be in the canteen yum cha, right? Dilly-dallying there and so on. So tea time is just for a short while, but they'll hang on for a long time. So this happens all over. Unlike, for example, the Japanese society or the Chinese society, they're very, very hardworking, isn't it? That's why Japanese, Chinese societies, Vietnamese also very, very hardworking people. So they improve lah. Economy improves and so on. So likewise also for students. From young itself, you must not be lazy. I have, taught how many years, more than 30, 40 or what years already. I found there is no student who got all the A's when the fella did not do the work. No lazy student had really attained good success, to put it that way. All the students that did well in the examinations, all the students who later on became very successful, went to good universities, they were quite hardworking ones, apart from having many other qualities. Right? But this is one important aspect, basically is being diligent. Right? So that is this point about laziness. And then one day, like for example, you have become a papa already. You are the head of the family. But then you also have this trait in you tending to bad traits like procrastinating, like laziness, diligence. So you work in a company. And then in time to come, the boss will see it through. Then you are already a lazy worker. Right? Not diligent. Very calculative with the time. They will come late and then go back early. That's all bad habits and so on. So in time to come, this person gets sacked. 炒魷鱼, they call it sack. So couldn't find employment because you don't get good testimonials. So what happens? Because of your bad traits like laziness and then not carrying out the duties, irresponsible. So you got no work, unemployment. And who suffers? Not only you yourself, but your poor family and children suffering because of your very bad traits and characteristics. And this all started from the time when you were young. You did not change. Of course, now Kelly had this story. She changed. I'm very sure she will become a very successful lady in the future. So this is very important. You might think, yeah, this one talk so much, all this. Some have no patience to listen, I know. All right. So now let's go on to the last of the life lessons. Apart from this diligence, of course, the story centers on diligence, right? Not being lazy. Basically, that is the important message. But then I just want to talk about a few other qualities apart from hard diligence. I've taken these two. Actually, there are others like patience, endurance, and so on. Determination and perseverance. Determination means ada keazaman, or in Mandarin you say 决心. So if you don't have the determination, like for example, this story, you have this girl, Irene, she got the determination to do a good essay, right? She got the determination to be successful. She maybe, of course, will have the determination to win. But then she also has good qualities. Well, if I don't win, never mind. But then she got the determination. So even the Buddha, right? As a Bodhisattva, where he practiced for 6 years, suffering and so on. Then later on, when he sat under the Bodhi tree, he made this sort of vow. He had this determination. I will not get up from my sitting under the tree until I get enlightened. Wow, that's sort of strong will for a good thing, for a good purpose. It was to find the enlightenment or truth. So if you have a good determination to achieve something good, right? You say, I have a determination to change my bad ways, right? To get rid of my bad habits like this, Kelly. And that is a very important trait. If you have no determination, you say, okay lah, but you actually did not have the determination. Very hard to get success. Then the other quality, very important, is perseverance. Hard work, diligence, another word. The diligence is the other word for hard work, industry. So now we talk of this one more quality, perseverance. That means never have the attitude of giving up easily. There are some people like that. Even in the practice of Dhamma, they don't have the perseverance. They say, yeah, very hard, difficult, cannot one. So after meditating for 2 weeks, I cannot get anything. The problem, they give up. So if you don't persevere on and on, how can you be successful? There's a Japanese proverb that says, he that wants the fruit must climb the tree. And climbing a tree is not easy, isn't it? If you want to get the fruit. This is just a proverb, right? But it shows the point very clearly that if we don't persist, there's this word persistence. In fact, one beautiful story I like was the life of this Thomas Edison, the scientist that invented the electric bulb. We owe great gratitude to this scientist. Today, you see, we have so many types of lighting. It started with the electric bulb. Now, so he was experimenting, Thomas Edison, how to get the electric bulb being lighted, right? So he tried, how many experiments he tried? He tried so many ways, a few hundred ways, 700 ways, I don't know how many ways I can read the story of Thomas Edison, and still not successful. So his friends told him, Thomas, you better give up. It's useless, wasting your time. He said, no. I'm not wasting. I'm going to go on. I'm going to persist. Each failure teaches me a lesson. Why is it that this cannot work? Then I know something. In the end, to cut the story short, he was successful. He invented the electric bulb. So you see how important perseverance is. And there have been many, many great motivational, inspirational stories about this. For those of you who are very good in surfing the internet, but unfortunately, they just use the internet for the entertainment only. Not to say you can't have that lah, but then it's all the time like that, chit-chatting, playing games, just entertainment and so on. Another very important good way is to learn things. For example, you can Google and say, oh, great stories on perseverance, and you read these great short stories, and you are motivated and you can change. How many do that? Very few, isn't it? They don't have the determination and interest and so on. There might be a very small percentage that does it. So now we have come to the end of this presentation. It's about more than 1 hour already. So before we say sadhu 3 times, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the students, the young ones even, all right? And also the parents, grandparents, and teachers of the Buddhist Sunday School who have taken time to follow this presentation, especially dedicated to the young ones and the parents, especially dedicated to them. And you have taken time and putting in your effort and energy, and also trying to concentrate at this say long-winded talk. So sadhu and thank you to all of you. So now let us put our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Boys and girls, parents, grandparents, and all those who have been following our presentation, including the youth members. I say sadhu to all of you, and may all of you be well, happy, peaceful, and may you all develop all the virtues and good qualities of the mind. Thank you. Take care.